Welcome everyone to the video opinion about the upcoming biopic of Amy Winehouse called Back to Black. This is my very first video I record in English. My mother tongue is obviously Spanish, so I apologize in advance if I make mistakes. If you feel weird the way I speak, is because I'm opening my mouth. That way I pronounce better the words. I know, that sounds very bad. Once making the introductions, let's go back to Black. Let's go back to Amy Winehouse. Yesterday I was gossiping a little bit too much on Instagram, and I have a look into the Instagram account called Just Jared or Just Jared. I don't know how to say it properly. The last update on this Instagram account was the first pics of the shooting of Back to Black, the biopic of Amy Winehouse in London yesterday on the 16th of January. To be honest, my first impression was surprise because I didn't know they were even making a biopic about Amy. Then I saw the pictures about the shooting and the impression wasn't good. Don't worry, I will add the pictures of the shooting later on in the video, and I will add the link to the Instagram account in the description box below. Like I've said before, the actress who is playing Amy is called Marisabella. You can see her in the series Industry by HBO and in the series Cobra by Sky One. I guess probably you are an Amy Winehouse fan, but it's important to explain who was or who is Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse was an English singer and songwriter born in 1983 in London. Some of the uncles and aunties of Amy were musicians, especially jazz musicians. And of course, Amy's parents raised Amy and her brother into music, most of them all jazz music. Winehouse had a great bond and relationship with her granny Cynthia. Cynthia was the one who suggested Amy's parents to get Amy into a theater school. In this school, Amy will learn vocal techniques and she will improve her musical skills. I don't want to put the focus on Amy's private life, but when she was 9, her parents divorced, which caused a lot of trauma for Amy. On her teens, she dropped several times from schools. With only 14, she began to write music, and with 16, she earned her own playing guitar. On her late teens, she kept busy because she worked as entertainment journalist for the World Entertainment News Network and also singing with local group the Bolsa Band. It was clear her life was music and she was working for making a living of it. We are in 2002, Amy is 19 years old and she signed her first contract. We can say this contract was shady, but after some troubles, she finally signed with Amy, Virgin, and finally in October of 2003, she released her debut album, Frank. The name Frank comes from the nature of this album lyrics. Amy was a very, very honest person, and from Frank Sinatra, one of the Winehouse idols. I highly recommend the album if you like jazz, soul, rhythm and blues. Amy co-wrote all the songs of this album. My favorite song is You Should Be Stronger Than Me. Stronger Than Me. This song won the Ivor Novello Award for Best Contemporary Song, by the way. For being a debut album based on jazz, this one was successful because Amy even performed at the Glastonbury Festival. Glasgow is one of the best music festivals. She also performed in Jazz World, the the Virgin Festival, and the Montreal International Jazz Festival. So little by little, Amy was getting into the music spotlight. But with the sudden success, sadly, it comes the criticism, even the destructive critics. Amy, obviously, she was a beautiful girl, but you can see in this Frank era how healthy she looked. In the early 2000s, the trendy body type for women was the very, very thin and skinny type. This comes from the 90s. The body type that was trendy in the 90s was the heroin chic. I can make a video about this, but it was totally terrible. You can see me look so good, but she was called fat in the early 2000s. This obviously affected so much to Amy because she struggled with an eating D since she was 14. You can see clearly the difference on her body in her next album, Back to Black. To summarize Back to Black era, she released the album in 2006 and it was totally a huge success. Everything in this album marked a before and after in music industry. Well, Mark Ronson was one of the producers, by the way. The quality of the songs, the productions, the aesthetic, the characteristic beehive, the 50s and 60s makeup and clothes, everything from this album was different from everything else. During these years, for example, on Halloween, in a bad and in a good way, the girls wear costumes as Amy Winehouse. If I recall well, even Karl Lagerfeld from Christian Dior, he made a collection based on Amy Winehouse aesthetic. Like I've said before, fame comes along with a long list of bad things, and one of the bad things is harassment from the media mass and from the paparazzis. Do you remember when Britney was literally harassed by the paparazzis? So it was the same for Amy, but in London, UK. Every week during 2005, 6, and 7, practically every week or every 2 weeks, Amy was on the gossip newspapers, on the gossip magazines, always. Think during this era, Amy was married to Blake. I don't want to speak even about that man because it was a disgrace for Amy's life. And Amy was struggling with substances. Of course, if you add to the equation successful singer plus troubled marriage plus substance abuse equals goldmine for the media mass. But let's go into the breaking news. You can see on screen. My Isabella's Amy Winehouse first Back to Black set photos released. I read all the comments on Just Jared. And sorry, the G sound is so difficult for me. Like I was saying, I read all the comments on this post, and the people were agreeing it feels like a monkey to Amy. Like they say in British English, you can see the uncanny resemblance on the actor that plays Mitch Winehouse, Amy's dad. And well, maybe we are being a little bit judgmental and unfair with the actress, but I still feel disgusted because they're gonna profit from Amy's tragic death, because probably they are gonna focus on her last years, on probably all the drama around her substance abuse. Probably, for sure. But before making any statement, which I've already did, let's read who is involved in this project. Let's see. I highlighted Back to Black biopic has the full support of Universal Music Group and Sony Music. Of course, they have the rights of Amy's music and the Amy Winehouse estate. Yesterday I tried for 30-45 minutes to get info about who is behind this Amy Winehouse estate, and I couldn't find anything, but I guess it's the Amy's family. But this is not a good thing because it's well proved, and we could see for several years her dad, Mitch Winehouse, he was always interested on Amy's money, and I will explain this later on the video. Now let's have a look into the technical information. If you want reliable and trustworthy info about any movie, any series, or any documentary, you have, or even you must, to go to IMDb. We can see on screen the info about Maisa Vela, the actress who will play Amy, was born on 1996 in Brighton. Ooh, Brighton, nice. She was in industry, like I said before on the video, in Cobra. She was born in 1996. Right now, we will see the upcoming films. See, Barbie with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, and Back to Black, which is in production, this website said. And Barbie, by the way, is in post-production. We can see the synopsis right now. Back to Black follows the life and music of Winehouse, who started out as a jazz singer to eventually become a Grammy-winning music superstar. Her life will eventually be cut short in 2011 at age 27. So, probably, like I was guessing, the main focus on this film will be her struggles. So sad. They could have focused instead on Amy's brilliant talent, but nope. You can see on screen at age 27, after a long battle with alcohol and drugs, of course. They need this to have an audience on theaters and being a success. Very, very sad, very lame, and this is a total disgrace. But this funkery, I won't say any bad words, keeps going because let's have a look who is the director of this film. There you go, is Sam Taylor Johnson. And who is Sam Taylor Johnson? She's a mediocre director. For example, she made 50 Shades of Grey on 2015. And she married, I think like 10 years ago, Aaron Taylor Johnson. If you check the dates when she met him, the word GROOMING comes to the table. Few channels, few people are talking about this couple, but if you have time and if you want to know a little bit more, just check on YouTube and on TikTok because it's very, very disturbing. Gossip alert. I don't know if it's true, but several months ago, Chloe Grace Moretz made an interview speaking about her struggles also with her self-image. Right after a meme, I won't put that image, probably you know which one I'm talking about. And also in that interview, she said one of her castmates was so rude with her. And of course, because I'm so gossip, I started to look info, and I could find on several YouTube and TikToks the one castmate who was rude with Chloe was Aaron Taylor Johnson. Apparently, she had a crush on Aaron Taylor Johnson, but she rejected her because her body type wasn't Aaron's body type. Yikes. Finishing salseo time, tea time, let's go back to Amy. I'm so angry, so upset, I'm furious, I'm fuming, like they say in British English, because they are gonna profit and they are gonna milk Amy's tragedy, Amy's struggles. Well, Chloe was minor, Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think he was like 19, so that relationship wouldn't be good anyway, so it's better that way, Chloe. One of the arguments most used to justify these biopics is, well, this type of films is a really good way to younger generation to get to know stars they weren't contemporary to. No, sorry. This is milking, this is profiting other suffering. Sorry. We've seen this for decades now with Marilyn Monroe. When Hollywood are gonna stop profiting this woman's life? When? The last 10, 15 years, they've made 4 or 5 films about Marilyn. Stop it. It's enough. Leave this woman rest in peace. Not only Hollywood is profiting with Marilyn this year or 2022 with Marilyn with Blonde movie, this year is profiting and making a lot of money from Whitney Houston in the biopic I Wanna Dance with Somebody. So sad. Leave these people to rest in peace, shall we? I know the lack of creativity on film industry is even bigger now, but stop making biopics and bad biopics, because if they were good biopics, but they are horrendous films. Before I was pointing out how Amy's dad, perhaps he was involved in the biopic, and this theory came to my mind because I saw Amy's documentary called Amy. You can see on screen. I highly recommend this documentary. It won, for example, the Oscar for Best Documentary in 2016, if I recall well. And for me it was a surprise because in one of the clips you clearly can see how uncomfy Amy was on vacation. I explain. On 2009, Amy spent a lot of time on the Caribbean island called Saint Lucia. She was so happy there, so calm, and one of her dreams was to rent a house there. After the hurricane came with the back to black success, she spent, like I was saying, a lot of time on this island, but the dad on 2009 joined Amy on the island and he called the paparazzi. Of course, Amy didn't approve this. She thought she was gonna spend some time with her dad in this paradise, but on this documentary on Amy, you can see a clip of this vacation. You can see on the clip how uncomfy Amy was, and she said something like, "Well, my dad only cares all about my money." I think she realized this a little bit late, sadly. The dad only has care only about her money, not her health, not her struggles, and of course probably he's behind the biopic project. The only one who could have been a great choice for portraying Amy, it would have been Lady Gaga, because they look alike. Even the eyes color are practically the same. I would have loved to hear Lady Gaga covering Amy's songs, but it's impossible because Lady Gaga right now is 36. But well, maybe in the future, who knows? The only problem about Gaga portraying Amy, it would have been the accent. Amy had a very North London accent, and that's almost impossible to mimic. I've been living in London for almost 8 years, and I can't tell the difference between North London accent and Southwest London. I can't. Summarizing the video, I'm so angry, so sad, so upset. I hope every Amy's fan will give a bad review of this biopic, even if they don't watch the film. And I hope a lot of people will complain about this biopic on the making. Well, it's time to say farewell. Thanks a lot for watching. Excuse my strong accent. Please like the video if you like it. You know all the things. Subscribe, comment, share the video. Take care and read you in the next video.